like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice, clean mind.
I'm Jay. This is the Liberal Lens, and the fix is in already. Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, already on some shit. Pam Bondi came out and was talking about how she might not be able to release some of the files, but she'll do it according to law. She can tell you better than I can.
The Epstein files. Does the new investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files?
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency. Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Maximum transparency from this administration. That's a good one. But let's not forget that there's provisions in this bill, obviously to protect the victims, but to protect an ongoing investigation. And already Pam Bondi's like, oh, by the law, we're going to be transparent. And I am so sick of this argument that they already released 30,000 files. There's hundreds of thousands of documents in this files, and you guys went through and released everything that everybody already knew, that was already available to the public. So acting like that's some form of transparency is crazy. And the fact that Pam Bondi is already setting the stage for Trump to be able to hide behind, and maybe what's in these files are so horrible and bad that it's worth Donald Trump taking some political heat because the alternative is worse. Like if people really found out what's in there, maybe it's absolutely worse for him. Maybe that this is the better line for him because politically he can get beat up, but nobody finds out about the awful things that were in there. Also, let's not forget Pam Bondi's the one who said when they released the DOJ statement earlier this year that there was no more investigation needed for the Epstein files. No more investigation needed. But don't take my word for it.
Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Yes, information, new information. What information? Like, this is the thing. Are we really pretending like this isn't Donald Trump calling her just a week ago to go and investigate Bill Clinton, JP Morgan? So let's not pretend that this is Pam Bondi getting new information. This is Pam Bondi being called out for Donald Trump. And how do we know this is Pam Bondi being called out for Donald Trump? Now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown and all of their other failures, I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia scam with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large proportions of their life with Jeffrey Epstein on his island. Stay tuned. We go from there. What do we have? We have Pam Bondi responding right in public. So, like, how do we even argue that this is not them colluding to open an investigation to hide these files? Thank you, Mr. President. The Southern District of New York, U.S. Attorney James Clayton is one of the most capable and trusted prosecutors in the country, and I've asked him to take the lead. As with all matters, the department will pursue this with urgency, integrity to deliver answers to the American people. Yes, transparency and dignity. Yeah, those would be the exact words you would think of when you talked about this administration. Come on now. Are we really trying to believe that Pam Bondi and Trump even believe that this administration has given any type of transparency? We didn't even have to go through this whole dog and pony show. Trump could have just released the files. He didn't need a vote. And the problem is that, yeah, he knew he was losing ground on the House. So he flipped his stance so he didn't look like he was losing on the narrative to say, yes, vote for it. But they went back channel to the Senate, trying to get them to add poison pills to this bill and send it back to the House to be voted on again. They wanted to clog up the lines. They did not expect a unanimous consent, putting Trump in the position he's in. And now they're going to use this investigations as a cover-up because they saw where this was going. So they got together. We heard about this in the Situation Room, tried to stop the petition from happening. And then they made their plan that they were going to start an investigation because anything linked to that supposed investigation can be held from the public to keep the integrity of the investigation. Yet this is the same DOJ that had said earlier in a memo that nothing in the files needed to be investigated any further. And then when Pam Bondi asks what made them want to reopen an investigation into the files, information, new information. Her words, not mine. But like, we all didn't see these Truth Social posts where Donald Trump's calling for her to investigate these people. The fact that nobody on the right has a problem, that there's no more separation between the DOJ, the FBI, and the president is insane. And I know you like it now, but you're going to feel a whole different way if the right or the left takes over and weaponizes the DOJ, even though they won't. And that's the problem. The right knows the left's never going to do that, so they can get away with doing whatever they want, get caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And it doesn't matter because they know that the left is never going to retaliate in the same fucked up way that the right does shit. And have you ever noticed everything Donald Trump blames somebody for is something he is guilty of? Go back through the history of Donald Trump. Everything he blames people for is exactly what he's guilty of. So now he wants people to investigate them because of their relationships with Epstein, even though we saw in the emails that were released that he was left alone with young girls at Epstein's place, that he spent Thanksgiving in 2017 while president with Epstein, that Michael Wolff has a lot of incriminating information with Jeffrey Epstein. We found out from his brother, Mark Epstein, that he knows that Jeffrey had a bunch of incriminating shit on Trump. Trump will do anything to make sure these files never get released. I warned people about this in the beginning. I just did a video about it the other day, and it's happening right before our eyes. So as Donald Trump himself would say, stay tuned because the shit's about to get even worse. All right, guys, we're in the middle of a cover-up dead in front of our eyes because, again, they think the whole bunch of us are as stupid as MAGA and that we'll just fall for any of the bullshit they said. And the crazy thing is you're going to have people out here defending them, going, they can't release the files. They're in the middle of an investigation. Yeah, an investigation that they started to create this conflict so that they don't have to release the files. All right, everybody. This shit's about to get even more wild, and it's going to get crazy, and we'll see where it goes from here. But thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the love we're getting on Facebook. Please go over to YouTube, subscribe there. One, because it'll help us out on YouTube. And two, if we ever get taken down from the platform of Meta, you'll still have another place to check us out. I told you my boy Maddie's coming back with some videos. And I am sitting down with Neil deGrasse Tyson's nephew in one short week. So that will be a great time. So stay tuned for that. All right, everybody. One world, one love. Deuces.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there? You listening?